You dream it, we blaze it.
Sought me.
Academy. You dream it, we blaze it. 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 Academy. You dream it, we blaze it.
Welcome to Dream Blazers Academy. You dream it, we blaze it. Right, today we're going to be blazing one of the disciplines, one of the most important disciplines, which is called Thomas. It's what they call Thomas in the Bible. Thomas, the doubter. So where is Thomas doubting? Right. But before we start, let me just start off by acknowledging everyone out there who's busy out there working, helping those who are looking after those who are vulnerable, those who are looking after, our loved ones. Continue doing your work, guys. We appreciate those who are watching us, those who work in the NHS, those who work in hospitals, who work on the front line. Guys, we salute you. We salute you. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you those who've been with us this morning. We have been talking about a discipline, or what you call a disciple in the Bible, which is called Thomas, which Jesus employed one of these disciplines or one of these disciples. Remember, when it's in you, it's a discipline. When it's outside you, it becomes a disciple. So we all need to have certain disciplines, then employ the same disciplines externally. These disciplines will work for you. You don't have to do much when you got these disciplines. They should work for you. I think we can see by some of the things going on that without these disciplines, sometimes you lose everything you've worked for because you just did activate this discipline. So the discipline today is the discipline of doubt, which is called Thomas. Some of you call him doubting Thomas. So where do you doubt? Where is doubt coming into effect? Why are we talking about doubt today? We are talking about doubt because in most cases, we were saying this morning, it's either you are moving without a plan, right? And this plan, it's not there. It's not somewhere. We don't have it anyway. So that means whatever is coming in, yeah, it's going to be difficult to, is it remain in your plan? You are going to go with what's going to come in. But if you had, of which that's what we're going to see how Jesus did it before he went into his ministry. If you had a plan and this plan is written down, then it's easy for you to refer to your plan to those who come in with new ideas to you, or those who come in to tempt you to change your plan. You should have a solid plan. You should have a solid plan. I was with my young brother yesterday. He was just saying, no, Morgan, you see, I've already decided in there years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, of what I want to do now. So this is what happens. When a plan is solid, whatever other things come in, yeah, you don't doubt it. You can't doubt it. So doubt is a result of you not having a plan. Doubt is a result of the absence of a plan. So if there's an absence of a plan, you're likely to doubt your destination, right? Postcodes, they are well defined. A postcode, they don't change. My postcode here doesn't change all the time. If you punch in this postcode here, it remains there for years, and it's been there for years. Since the house was built here, this postcode doesn't change. So that's what you want to do. You have a postcode that it remains in the same position, have a destination. Because if you want to arrive where you want to go, then it has to be positioned. It has to be located somewhere. Otherwise, if it's not located, we're talking about exits. If there's no exit and your exit is not defined, life is a journey, and life is like traveling on the motorway. When you're traveling on the highway or motorway, there are exits. There are different exits, right? And these exits, they are well defined. Say if I want to go to Birmingham today, it's well defined which exit I'll take and how long it will take me to get there. Usually it will take us 2 hours. We used to do workshops every Saturday, and we'll travel to Birmingham or to London. It would take us 2 hours, and would get off a certain exit. I can't remember what exit it is, but they've got numbers. So they've already got. So exit strategy, we're talking this morning that we're going to talk about exit strategy. Because we say for every starting point, there has to be an exit. For every entrance, there's an exit. For every entrance, there's an exit. Even when they're building houses, you find out that they have an entrance, then they have an exit. So all things work that way. All things work that way. Enter, you have to go out. Even mice, they have an exit strategy. They have another hole they can escape. It's called an escape route. Yeah, they can escape through. So what about you? You are a person. How can you not have an exit strategy? How can you just flow without any exit? Right. So let's talk about. Let's be so relevant to what we're talking about, because we are talking about Thomas. Now, in the Bible, is it in Matthew 14? there's where Thomas is doubting and Thomas is claiming, is asking Jesus. Because Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Process. Jesus was talking about. He's a process. It's the way things work. So Thomas said, just show us the Father. That will be enough. Just show us the answer. Just give us the answer. That's it. Give us the product. Most of us, that's what we want, isn't it? We just want the product, right? But that's not the issue I'm talking about today. The issue I want to talk about is when the temptation comes. So temptation, it might not be in the form of maybe the devil, as it says. To us, the devil, the serpent, it all represents, experience. So it might be somebody else's experience, because experience is good at doing that. Coming to tell you that it doesn't work. Because why? I failed in my attempt. When I attempted that, I failed. So I'm likely to tell you how I went through my, when I attempted to do it. Then there's also your own experience can tell you the same. You've gone through a certain thing you've done and you failed. In most cases, when you fail, it's because you had not planned in the first place. It was not written. Maybe there was a plan in your head, but it was not written. So the reason why you failed is because it was never there. So now what you tell yourself is it cannot be done. Right? It cannot be done. So in most cases, while we're talking about disciples and disciplines, at this moment, we are talking about you in there. Yeah? I must believe that Jesus, it was in there. Yeah, it's not external yet. So before start of the ministry, before he's called in all these disciples, he's ready now. So what happened? So let's read about that so that we draw a lesson there. What lessons should we draw, right? So today, I'm just going to read Matthew 4 from verse 1 to 11. So the rest of Matthew 4, I'll go through I'll go through Matthew 4. All right. Matthew 4, Jesus is tested in the wilderness. Yeah, in the wilderness. Wilderness. There's no order here. Yeah. So in that wilderness, you're going to be tested, right? Everyone will be tested every day, actually. We are tested in our wilderness. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted. Temptation. You all talk about temptations, isn't it? We get tempted. Just test. Temptation and test, they are all the same. So you might be tempted with food, tempted with money. Most of us, we're motivated by money. So you might be tempted by money. You might be tempted with, soup. You might be tempted with women, or men. You might be tempted with things. Let's talk about that way, right? Things. Let's talk about things, right? By the devil. So he was tempted by the devil. Remember, we said in this case, please don't misquote us, but we are saying our understanding of the devil is your experience, your past experience. Whatever I've done last minute, last year, I've done last month, it becomes my past. That's my devil, right? So your experience is your devil. Actually, your experience is your worst enemy. Somebody said your experience is the worst enemy of your progress. Yeah. For some of us, once we get there, once we get, we get a few pennies, we are comfortable, and we can be showing off. Or like me, what I used to do, I would work, make money, then I'll start spending the money until it's finished. Then I start again, work. So can you see what experience the devil does? So the devil, the lived devil, put it that way. That's me now. Because devil, reverse, say, put that one, devil, you reverse it, it's called lived. Devil, lived. Yeah? So devil, other way around, lived. So your lived experience or your lived life becomes your devil. So devil is your lived, your past experience. It's your worst enemy. It's your worst enemy of your progress. Why? You become lazy in creation. You become lazy in doing new things, as we are going to see. Once you are tempted with money, you are tempted with things, in most cases, you become lazy or you become big, yeah, showy and so forth. Why? Because you have it. So that's why the Bible says you can never save two masters at the same time. You cannot save mammon and God at the same time. God meaning you cannot save the word, knowledge, understanding. You cannot save that with what is measured already. Say money, lots of things. You cannot, what do you call it? You cannot not worship both, right? So it's either you hate the other and then you start practicing the other. So sometimes you're worshiping in spirit, then when you have things, you become out of your spirit and you're starting to, maybe spend your money, chop money, right? So let's start again. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil, by the lived one. Yeah, remember the devil is already there. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. The tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Temptation, right? Remember, Esau was tempted with food. So these are some of the things that are used by the lived ones, by your experience, to tempt you. When you are hungry and the food is there, what do you do? Or there's no food, what do you do? Jesus answered, "It is written." Now, I want you to quote this. Jesus answered. So your answer when the temptation comes, when the test comes, yeah? We're talking about disciplines here. So how should you be disciplined? The only way you can be well disciplined is when you answer, when the temptation comes, and then when you answer, this is how you answer, like Jesus. It is written. Say it. It is written. Say that it is written. If you answer me without "it is written," consider it not done. It doesn't exist, right? So it is written, right? We've lived this experience a few weeks ago. So I'm saying something, we are living ourselves. So if it's not written, there's a likelihood of us going into an argument of what was said instead of what was written. Now, those who we've been, we just I want to make this thing so tangible. I want someone to use this in their everyday life. So this is why the Bible says, where two or three are gathered in purpose, in my name, in one accord, there I am also. Order. Yeah, process. So process is when two or three are gathered. That's where process starts. There's no process without purpose, vision, and mission. There's no process without the Father, the Holy Ghost, and the Son. There's no process. Process is these three. One of them is the answer. The Son is the answer. Yeah. The middle thing, the vision, is the mother, the producer. Then the starting point is the provider, the father. This process, it's a natural phenomenon where two things interact, where a male and female interact, they will have babies. So this is where 2 or 3 are gathered in agreement, in one accord. So a husband and wife, when they come in agreement, they're likely to have babies. They have children, and they'll replicate after their own kind, baby boys, baby girls. So this is where it works. So in your business, have 2 or 3 gathered in one accord. And we said these 2 or 3, number 1 is the chairperson, number 2 is the secretary. Employ these 2 first. Then number 3 is the treasurer. The secretary, their job is to write what the meeting is about or how the meeting is going on. Why? So that when we come to judgment or when we come to tomorrow, we want to refer what has been said. We will be reading from what is written, what you call minutes. That's why the banks, they ask you for minutes. What was your agreement for the composition of this organization? This is where a constitution is coming into place, so that those who wonder, why do we say you have to have these things into place? So you need a constitution because you need these 2 or 3 gathered in one accord, which is God is involved. So God involvement, which is simple, guys. It just means God is process. God is the way things work. That's God. If you imagine God as a person, then you miss it. You're going to miss all these lessons we're talking about. God is that process where you have a producer, a provider, a producer, and products. A provider, a producer, and products. A father, a mother, and the children. That's how God works with everything else. Yeah. All right. So here Jesus is tempted, and his answer, and your answer should always be, it is written. Don't tell me about what you discussed. Show me where you've written it. Evidence your work. Evidence your discussion. Evidence your speech. Record your spoken word. Why? Because when temptation comes, we want to evidence ourselves by written stuff, not by spoken stuff. So this is, I think it's easy for most people. We've been told, if it's not written, it's never happened. But is it that easy? Did you write what you are doing today? Did you write it yesterday or this morning? So that whatever you're doing today, you can be telling people that it is written. I wrote this. Maybe not, because someone has already written for you. Why? I think you know why. So wherever you are going today, is it your own intention? Did you write it down? Was it planned? If it's not planned, and if the plan is not written down, then you're likely to be working on other people's plans. And believe me, not much is planned for you in that plan. There isn't much in that plan, in somebody's plan who plans for you, unless you plan for yourself. Right, so let's go. Jesus answered. So here's the answer. It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. Right. So this is very important in terms of, I want to twist it now. Remember this serpent or this devil, they lived experience. Remember, experience is already there. So it's also written, right? But let's put it this way. So experience is quoting experience. So experience, in most cases, is the devil who quotes the Bible. I'm quoting the Bible, right? But it's mostly believed or past. I'm quoting from the past because I've read this, I've studied this, so I quote that. So in most cases, your experience will quote. But if you don't have any quotations that support what you're doing, then you're likely to fall. So here, the experience is quoting. And we'll see that it's all even in Genesis 1, Genesis 3, when when the serpent was quoting for Eve, when the serpent said, "Did God say?" You see, it's quoting what God said, right? So this is what's going on here. It's quoting what has been said or what is written. Then Jesus' answer now, twisting what we are saying today, is that no man shall not live by bread alone. Bread alone to us is also, you do not only live by that written stuff. Man shall not only live by written bread alone, but also on every word that comes from the God's mouth, the revelation. So the secret here is what written word does. Those who read the Bible, those who read scriptures or scripts, anything, those who read the word, any words, what scripts does or written stuff does is that they reveal. There's something about written things. They start to reveal. You get revelation. If I read your plan, there's some revelation that comes. That's what makes you go into action. It's the revelation, right? So you don't live by written stuff only, but you need that written stuff. Why? It reveals. That's why the Bible says the Holy Spirit will what is it? Will remind you. Remind. Holy Ghost meaning, Holy Spirit meaning the written plan. A plan, a recipe. If a recipe is written, it starts revealing what is written. So you start acting, going to action of what is written in the recipe. If you got a recipe of a cake, what's revealed from that is through reading. You are reading the written stuff so that you are revealed of the written stuff, the recipe, right? So get that right, because we are wasting time imagining things that don't exist. So just think you want to bake a cake, you have a recipe book. When you when you're reading the written recipe book, you start being revealed. That's what he's saying now. Men shall not live by that what is written alone, but they also get revelation from that and then begin to go into action, right? Now, then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you are the Son of God, he said, throw yourself down, for it is written. Yeah, right. I want to go with someone here. Listen here. Here's another quote. Now, the lived one or the devil is quoting a quote. Because the devil is saying now, throw yourself down, for it is written. So it's verse, they're quoting verses here, which is what Eve missed. Eve did not quote any verse. Eve was just saying, no, God said, no, God said, right? So here, they're quoting verses, they're using verses. So, for it is written, that's the lived one, the devil, yeah, the tempter. He will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. This works in most cases. I would talk to pastors, yeah, or those who read the Bible and then they've got no revelation about the Bible. You are likely to you go astray. Why? Because this is where the problem is. If you've got no revelation about the written word or the bread, right? This is how it goes. You have a misinterpretation of what it is, because this is, in some ways, it's misinterpreting what is written. Because for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you. So here we've got miscommunication. One is talking about hunger of food, physical things, and the other one is in the spirit. So these are two conflicting ideas or two conflicting realms. One is operating in the spiritual realm, one is offering the physical, right? So these are different realms. So when temptation comes, if you don't want to change your plan, we're talking about Thomas, doubting Thomas. If you don't want to doubt, have written stuff down, quote your written stuff down, then evidence it. It's easier that way than to tell us what has been spoken or what was said. Jesus answered to him, it is also written, another verse, another quotation. It is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test. The stuff that is already written, do not doubt it. Do not put it to test. It's already there. Right? So putting it to test is the doubting now. Do not doubt what is written. Because it is written. We planned this and we wrote it down. You said, and we wrote, the secretary wrote it down. This is a meeting of the Father, the Holy Ghost, and the Son. In their meeting, it was written down that this shall, the journey or the plan shall go this way. Right? So do not test that what is already written. Do not test it. Testing meaning do not doubt it. We agreed on that. And let's do it and let's finish it. Let's do as the plan says. I've done it a lot of times when I used to do removals with my dad. We used to argue with the sat-nav. I remember the other time we didn't understand that there are two, what's this place? There are two places called the same place, same name. What is this one called? I want the name of it. Going towards north, there's a place called, there's a place there. Okay, just like maybe Stock-on-Trent and Stock, yeah? Then when you look up, to you know Stock. So you don't put the sat-nav, you're going to Stock. That's what we did. Yet we're supposed to go to Stock-on-Trent. So you don't argue with the sat-nav. Never do that. Never. It's costly. It used to cost us a lot, right? There's a place, I'll think of the name. What's this name? Anyway, I'll think of the name. Right. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. If you bow down and worship me, all this I'll give you. Splendor of the world. Jesus answered, hey, so splendor of the world, things, yeah, now they're out of spirit now. So things, physical things, splendor of the world, yeah. Cars, all those things, money, houses, buildings. Jesus said to him, away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Then the devil left him and angels came and attended him. I think because of time and Joe needs to come in and do a physical, a practical project, I'll end up by saying, please, for you to reduce amount of doubt in you, today we are in COVID-19, in lockdown or whatever it is. I think we are coming out in lockdown at the moment. If you had a plan when you came here in 2000, when you came here in 1990, when you came here, whenever you came, if you had a same plan you were working on, imagine, where would you have been? There have been so many things like the recession, this COVID coming. How many recessions now between 2000 and now? How many things have gone wrong? How many things, these offers, the whatever has been offered, if we'd known about funding maybe from 2000, where would we have been? What would we have built without doubting with a written plan? Imagine if you had a written plan. I came here in 2000. If I had a written down in 2000, imagine where that plan would be. So I'll leave us with that. So for you not to doubt, it's never too late. Write down another COVID is coming, or another recession is coming, or don't wait for recession. Just write down your plan. Start going with your plan. We were saying this morning, your wages, where are they going? Is there a plan which your wages are going towards, or you are ending up chasing bills? Because that was my problem. I ended up, checking on my bills, chasing on bills. Why? Because the bills, they've already planned for you. That's why we said this morning, they will give you what's called a planning, what is it? Planning what? What do they give you? They give you a plan, isn't it? For your payment plan. So don't wait for someone to put a payment plan on your wages, on your income. Have your own payment plan written down and follow that until you get to your destiny. Joe, come and join us. And thank you for paying attention.
Right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much, Morgan, for giving us a perspective about the idea of planning. And today, we just want to make it relative and relevant to us. We need to discuss and apply what we talk about, what we discuss. How can we use this information? How can we put it straight into action? Because we don't want to theorize things or to make believe or to build castles in the air, talking about things that we can put in practice, we can implement, we can use, becomes dissolute or irrelevant to us. So today I'm just going to demonstrate. Today we are on the seventh discipline from our 12th discipline, the seventh discipline, which is the discipline of organized planning, which is coming from the disciple Thomas. Yes, discipline of organized planning coming from the disciple Thomas. You doubt, you're not supposed to, if you write something down, you're not supposed to doubt it. So I'll just take you through the process of how we are here and what sort of direction we are taking, so that we understand that the projects that we talk about, they are real projects. Today, I'm going to talk about a concept that we can transplant wherever you are, where you are right now. You can transplant it. Most people, they ask us, oh, we've got a project in Africa, we've got a project in other parts of the world. How best can we implement this project? So today, I'm just going to demonstrate the project. So we'll borrow our friend again, right? Today is called Thomas. Thomas, which means organized planning. So here it's idea, plan, and action. Right. These things are fixed. The operations, the order of operations, they are always fixed. What gives the order of operations is the plan. So when you talk about idea, we talk about how relevant can we at this point in time in the COVID situation. There's a concept or there is an issue that we're trying to tackle. So we are talking about, where do you start? People, they ask, where can I start? to start a venture, to start a business, to start an enterprise, you start off by an idea. What is an idea? Idea is a concept, right? Business ventures or business enterprise or entrepreneurship, it's about launching yourself as a solution to an existing problem. One of the most talked about problem right now is poverty. Poverty, the closest and possibly relative definition of poverty is general lack of resources, basic resources, lack of basic resources, food, water, and shelter. Food, water, and shelter, poverty. So if we lack, our idea is about poverty. So we want to reduce poverty in our communities, right? A simple, how do we reduce poverty? We have read that many children nowadays, because of the COVID restrictions, they are being homeschooled, and some parents, they do not have enough food for the children. Why? Because they also depend with the school meals and school dinners. But now having that capacity to continue feeding the family is a struggle. So poverty, it's an old, it's an old term which evolves in different ways and presents itself in different situations. You see, so right now, a lot of poverty is going along, but this project that we're aiming to launch today is to reduce poverty. What are we gonna do? We're just gonna access money to be able to feed families, at-risk families who cannot have enough adequate food, even water and shelter. So the project today is reducing poverty reduction, right? Poverty reduction. So that's our idea. We plan it according to the content of today. We plan it. The plan, which is called Thomas, right? Thomas is doubt. So when we have got a plan, that means you don't doubt. When something is written as a reference to what we have read from the scriptures, Jesus said, it is written. You don't test your plan. Your plan is there to give you a postcode, direction, give you momentum, to give you a fixed point of arrival. You can be able to measure your own performance because you've got something written. Written something gives you an exit strategy. What is an exit strategy? Exit strategy means ability to adapt to changed conditions. You might not have to do what you've been doing before, but because of the new challenges, because of the new problems, because of the COVID, we have to adapt even our learning, even our worship, we have to adapt it to be electronic, to be digital. So that's the idea of a plan. Plan means something solid to an extent that you've got an evaluation platform or an evaluation plan that is necessary for you to make necessary adjustments and evaluations, or to just review things to see whether you're still in the right direction, what you need to do to adjust, to go forward, what do you need to do to change or to improve or to employ, new people, right? So today the project is about poverty reduction. Poverty reduction, it's a simple course, but we just want to go into the implementation of poverty reduction, right? Poverty. Poverty reduction. Poverty is a wide term, but we're going to consider it as the basic level today. Poverty, we're talking about what are we going to do in where we are right now. We'll distribute, let's say, about 200 food parcels to families, to BME families, right? 200 food parcels and also 200 hot meals. This is per week, by the way, per week, right? And what do we need? We need obviously costs, the cost of transport and transport comes with communication. We also have the communication cost in terms of what instruments or pieces of equipment we are going to use for communication during COVID when we talk about social isolation. That means we have to be electronically connected using devices like mobile phones, computers, maybe tablets as well. This is just to give, a quick rundown of this. We are going to reduce poverty. When we're reducing poverty, what are we going to do about this poverty reduction? We're going to just distribute food parcels to disadvantaged families. We are going to be cooking hot meals that are culture relevant, you see. We're not going to be distributing, yes, occasional fish and chips, but people, they want their salsa, their okra, their plantain and things like that. So we make it culture relevant because we are aiming to meet the outcomes of the needs of the people of our target group. So by writing all this down, we have met, the requirements, the tools, and this is part and parcel of the planning. And guess what? We are making a budget. So these things that we've listed, they become our cost, or they become the budget. How many meals we are going to distribute? How much is it going to cost us? So it becomes the cost. They become the cost or the budget for the project. You see? So in other words, the simplest way to break through the idea of project development is to think of a problem not very far. An idea like poverty reduction, cooking food, by telling the story of how we are going to do it, equipment and tools that we are going to use, we'll be developing the budget. Right. This is pretty much straightforward. In a wartime situation, people need food, water, and shelter. Right. So some people, they always ask us, ignore what is written. Some people, they always ask us, how can we start off a venture in Africa, for example? We've just talked about poverty reduction in Africa, right? Poverty in Africa, right? We're using the same project, poverty reduction. What are we going to do to provide food, water, and shelter? And we know that in Africa, there's arable land. So what are we saying? We're again targeting disadvantaged people. So the whole idea about project development is selecting a target group. What have we got? Who is our target group? Are we targeting orphans? Are we targeting disadvantaged families? Are we targeting women, victims of domestic violence? Are we targeting men, mental health? You see, so this is what we call identifying a group, right? So that we create what we call leverage points. You see, leverage points, we develop the outcomes according to the leverage points, you see. So every project, these projects, they can be done one at a time, you see, to be effective with our planning and to be effective with our evaluation. Next season or next project, let's say this one for 12 weeks, or this one for 12 weeks, this one, every project with a specific time frame, different points, and they can be funded independently. But what are we doing poverty reduction with this group of people that we've identified? We are going to have a food growing, yes, food growing in Africa. This is going to be a food growing project to reduce poverty. Obviously, we said poverty is lack of basic items, food, shelter, and water. So this is going to be an agro-based food growing project to alleviate poverty. But what we are aiming for, we are the funders, as we always refer, that they are called outcome funders. why are we doing it? We are doing this, we are growing food to reduce poverty, working with orphans in a designated place. So this is just a synopsis of how project can be transplanted from where you are in the current situation right now to Africa. So the idea is start where you are with what you have, the idea, do what you have there, and an idea can be transported or transplanted into Africa. Still the same concept, but you can also visit different sections according to a specific time frame, according to a specific requirement of target group, and according to specific outcomes that you need to make. So when we hear about, the World Health Organization has put so much money in a certain country, when you hear about the United Nations have put so much money in a certain country, these are the things that they are looking at. First of all, it's poverty, it's health, it's education. But for today, for the sake of this project, we are going to do a poverty reduction exercise. Poverty reduction through agro activities, agro-based activities of growing food to reduce project. So when we are developing understanding or knowledge about this, especially like this, we're also making the budget, depending on how scalable you want the project to be. First of all, every project, mind you, it has to start as a pilot. You test something, but in pilot, you are doing the real thing. You are using real skills, people who are trained. You're also using real material. You need a computer, even to do the growing process technology and all that. So the fusion of technology and relevance to solve some of the global problems, that's where value comes. When they say the poverty in Africa is going to be 60 billion, that is, we've got a 60 billion problem in Africa. But what is wrong? How much of that 60 billion do you want to at the beginning? Solve the poverty problem in Africa. So in a nutshell, we've started off to highlight projects where you are, poverty reduction, what can you do right now, distributing food parcels to disadvantaged families, children, and in Africa, what can you do? Yes, reduce poverty, but what can you do? Growing crops, food crops to feed families in the. So the secret is, how do you put it down in a plan? When you've planned, include the budget creates the value is the outcomes. So you get paid for your outcomes, not because of what you want to do. It's not about the growing, but why are you doing it? Thank you very much because of our time. Please connect with us, share the video. We'll put our contact details in the messaging box. If you've got any questions that you have, please continue to fill them in as we continue with the program. But for now, I'll give you back to Morgan. Morgan, please.
Right. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Just want to acknowledge people here. Is Joe Gumindoga. Thank you, Joe, for coming. No G is watching. Noreen, thank you for watching, Noreen. Then I have also, I wanted to acknowledge people. I think someone from US, Aisha Kash. Aisha Salik, remember, Norway. Baba Anesu is watching. Baba Anesu, thank you guys for watching. Guys from Chechu Boys. Guys, listen, today just to summarize, we've been talking about a discipline that one of the disciplines Jesus acquired before Jesus went into ministry. And the discipline was about Thomas. Thomas represents doubt. So we were talking about when doubt, how do you discipline your doubt? How do you discipline doubt? So we were looking at that in some cases, the reason why we doubt our things, why we doubt what we do, why we doubt our plans, our ideas, is because in most cases they are never there Why? Because they have never been written. So if it's not written, then we cannot evidence it. We cannot just have a plan in there. We can't see it. Yeah? So if you are faithful, those who claim to be faithful, faith is not claiming things that we cannot see and you are claiming them. Yeah? Say, I'm faithful, I'm faithful. No, 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 no. Rather, show us your faith by writing it down. Right? That house you want to build, that idea, that business, write it down. In some cases, just for your own sake. It's not even for everyone's sake. What we are saying is evidence it to yourself so that you keep building on the same plan. If I had, like I said, I've lost, I think now 20 years. 2000, I came in UK without a plan, right? I had no written plan. I had nothing. I was just thinking in my head, I'll come, then I'll go back in 6 months. I did that, but I never went back. I got the money, I got, the car, I got whatever I thought I was going to have, then go back. Because the plan was in my head. So it never manifested. Some they do, don't get me wrong. But what are we saying? We're saying when it comes to action, which is when you are tempted now to do, because Jesus was now ready to go into action. He was ready to go into ministry. So what happens is temptation, it's an everyday action. Temptation is an everyday action. You are tempted every day. So the tempter comes to tempt what you already know. So what you already know, and it's not written down, it is nothing. Consider it there. It's not there. It's just there, out there. So it's not yours. You don't own it. Why? Still in the air, floating there. So what is written can be evidence in the courts. You are asked to evidence. Those who can't evidence in the courts, even if you don't have a crime, you still go to jail without having committed a crime. Why? Because it's all about evidencing. There has to be evidence, right? And also was talking to Noreen the other day. The reason why the police say to you, you may remain silent. Whatever you say may be used against you. Evidence is what you said. They'll use against you. If it's recorded, they'll use that against you. So you are arrested because of the evidence of things you said. So it's for your own sake here. We are not saying evidence your plan to us. But of course, banks, they'll go on, they'll ask you for plans just to open an account. Some, they want plans. Your business, they want plans. You want to borrow money, which I don't encourage you. They want a plan. But everything has to be planned. Everything has to be written down. So try this every day. Before you go to sleep, please, I'm going into this myself because I was starting to go into the wrong habits. So please think, put down a list of things you're going to do tomorrow morning. If you don't write these things down, chances are that you're going to be scrolling on Facebook. You're going to be scrolling on YouTube. You're going to be scrolling on your phone, looking for news, looking for rumors, looking for all this nonsense. I was on the phone the other day. Then it happened, just something popped up. I'll tell you, I went with this person, they were driving. I went with them driving. Where they went, bought food, came back. Then after I watched them, I thought to myself, but what have I learned? Why was I watching? Right, it's because I didn't have a plan. So in most cases, please, to avoid all this, to avoid just sailing nowhere, have a plan. And with that, we came to an end. Welcome to Dream Blazers. You blaze it.
Dream Blazers Academy. You dream it. We blaze it. Blazers Academy. You dream it. We blaze